After 25 years with sleeping bags, I made the switch to quilts, and it transformed my hiking experience. Lighter, more flexible, easier to pack, it seemed perfect. But there's one problem I couldn't ignore: cold drafts sneaking in on frosty nights. Could there be a better solution? Well, meet the Zenbivy Sleep System. It promises the best of both worlds: the freedom and flexibility of a quilt, combined with the snug warmth of a sleeping bag, and a cozy bed-like feel to top it off. I've given the Zenbivy Sleep System an initial test run, and while there's plenty to like, it's not without its trade-offs. So, what's the catch? In this video, join me as I unpack whether the Zenbivy could be your ultimate sleep system for the trail. Hi there, I'm Mauser, and I have over 30 years of hiking experience, mostly in Tasmania's wild and unpredictable terrain. Over the years, I have tested countless sleep systems, from traditional mummy bags to ultralight quilts. So when Zenbivy reached out, I was already considering their setup and was eager to see how it compared to my systems that I've used in the past. The team at Zenbivy sent me a system free of charge, no strings attached at all, no money changed hands, and since then I've just put it through its paces on a few trips. So this is my initial review based on first impressions, with a more detailed follow-up planned after further testing this coming summer here in Tasmania. Let's start with a quick overview of what the Zenbivy Sleep System offers. So, what makes Zenbivy different from traditional sleep systems? Well, the problem with many sleeping setups like mummy bags is that they often feel restrictive and uncomfortable, especially for hikers who move around in their sleep or prefer the feel of a bed. And this is certainly where I fell into with sleeping bags, and is kind of why I moved to a quilt a few years ago. The challenge has always been finding a sleep system that combines the comfort of home with the practicality needed for outdoor adventures. I can think of so many times where I have become entangled in myself within my mummy bag. Think of it like this. Imagine you are trying to sleep in a straitjacket. That's how many describe the experience of a traditional mummy style sleeping bag, and it's certainly how I felt. The Zenbivy system, on the other hand, is like bringing your own bed into the wild. It's not just a sleeping bag, it's a modular system designed to adapt to your needs and provide true comfort. Zenbivy's modular design includes a quilt for versatile warmth, a sheet that wraps around your sleeping pad to keep the drafts out, and a pad with lightweight insulation. Additionally, there is a soft top pillow for extra comfort, as well as a dry sack to keep everything compact and protected that the system fits into, except the sleeping pad that doesn't go in the bag. And where this system differs from others, well, the standout feature is probably the sheet. It's available in a variety of options, and it wraps around your sleeping pad and attaches to your quilt. And the idea with this is that the design creates a draft-free cocoon, securing the quilt to the pad and offering an enclosed, snug sleeping experience. What else sets Zenbivy apart? Well, firstly, versatility. You can customize the setup for any trip. Heading out on a warm summer night? Well, just take the quilt. Camping in colder conditions? Well, bring the full setup for maximum warmth. The modular design allows you to chop and change the components as needed. Secondly, compatibility. The system works seamlessly with other gear. You can use the quilt and sheet with your existing sleeping pad, so it is not mandatory to buy the Zenbivy sleeping pad, and it makes it easier to integrate Zenbivy into your current setup if you've already got a pad that you really like. Zenbivy also offers a simple solution to the common problem of uncomfortable, restrictive sleep systems. So whether you're a restless sleeper or someone who prefers the feel of a bed, this system brings adaptability, brings comfort, and a bit of practicality out onto the trail. So what exactly does the Zenbivy system include? Well, let's break down the specs and features of the ultralight system that I tested. Specs and features. So I got to choose the system that Zenbivy sent me, and I went with the ultralight system. So the system I have tested includes the ultralight quilt XL 10 degree, that is in Fahrenheit, which is minus 12 degrees Celsius. That is the comfort rating. So that was this quilt here, and this is pretty lightweight, and it's really, really warm. And I would say this is a perfect quilt for even Tasmanian winter, unless it gets super cold. That minus 10 rating, I definitely would agree with that. I don't know if I would use this quilt in a Tasmanian summer. It's probably just simply too warm, but we'll get further into that in a minute. In addition to that, I got the ultralight 10 degree sheet as well. So again, 10 degrees, which is minus 12 Celsius. And that is the sheet there. We'll also flash some stuff up on screen of how it attaches to the pad and how it attaches to the sleeping bag. But you can see just here the color-coded hooks along the side of the sheet as well. And the idea of that sheet is that it creates a draft-free experience. Next, I have the ultralight air mattress. I went for the 25-inch by 78-inch as well. And it's a comfortable insulated sleeping pad. In addition, I was sent the soft top pillow as well, which is a 3-piece pillow system that's modular and adjustable. And the final piece I was sent was the dry sack, which you pack everything into to keep it compact and dry. Everything except the pad. Although, can you put the pad in? I don't think you can. You wouldn't be able to fit it in the bag I got anyway. So, like I said, this kit is modular and it allows you to mix and match components for different seasons. So, for example, after using this system, I ended up buying another quilt myself because I wanted something that I can use in summer that doesn't have the weight and the extra warmth of that winter system. So I now have an ability to add in my light quilt and light sheet for summer trips, which has made the system for me a bit more versatile. So how does it all work? Well, the Zenbivy system, it's a system made by Zenbivy, is designed to give you a draft-free, snug and adaptable sleeping experience. So whether you're tossing and turning or settling in for the night, here's how it all works. The draft shield. At the core of the Zenbivy system is the sheet, which includes integrated wings and a hood to create a draft shield around you. It's like a cone of silence, but it's a cone of draftlessness, I guess. That's how I'd describe it. The quilt clips into the draft shield or the sheet, ensuring that it stays securely tucked in around your sides, guiding the corners into the hood. This seals in warmth around your neck and your shoulders, and it eliminates those annoying little cold spots that can creep in during the night. And I have had a little bit of trouble with other sleep systems. And what makes this system really special is that the sides of the draft shield function kind of like hinges. So this allows the quilt to move freely, expanding and settling naturally while staying in place and no drafts getting in. As a result, the quilt can float loosely sort of above you for extra space when you need it. Or you can just wrap it around you snugly when it's cold. The Kylie Curve Cinch. Unlike other quilts that use a full width drawstring, which can lift the sides and let in drafts to other quilts, and I've certainly found that in mine. So yeah, these other quilts, they have a full length sort of drawstring cord and cinches at each end where you tighten it to constrict the top of the quilt. The Kylie Curve cinches just the middle section of the quilt. This design leaves the sides loose to drape naturally or tuck into the hood, providing a better seal around your shoulders while preventing drafts. I think this is one of the main features I like about the entire system. When I first tested it out, I wondered why the drawstring was made in this way, but then it immediately made sense when I used it. Absolutely no drafts, and I am a big fan of the Kylie Curve. The integrated insulated hood. The sheet also includes an integrated hood which insulates your head. Now, this is something a typical quilt and straps combo does lack, and I did kind of miss it a little bit with a quilt at times. So for colder conditions, insulated hood options are available to mimic the warmth of a mummy bag, while uninsulated options are ideal for warmer weather or layering with a down jacket, although I don't really see the point in getting an uninsulated hood why would you need that? I guess to hold the pillow in maybe, but I probably wouldn't go for one of those. I'd just go for the quilt if I wasn't going to take an insulated hood. But again, this is one of the reasons I wanted to try the system out. To have an insulated hood, the option of taking one when I want to take one is really nice, especially for the colder trips that I go on. Headboard and pillow clips. Now, the other thing the hood does is it also acts as a built-in sort of headboard or bed head, featuring loops to clip in the Zenbivy soft top pillow. So this ensures that your pillow stays in place and doesn't slide off the mattress during the night. When I used this was, I found, instantly a game changer for me with this pillow system. I've always had trouble with my pillows in the past, slipping off my mat, even when I strap them on, even when I, wrap them in clothing and stuff. They always tended to end up somewhere else. But with this, the pillow did not budge. It stayed there the whole night, and the pillow was actually really, really comfortable. And the other feature, which I mentioned briefly before, was the floating quilt design. The quilt's attachment points are positioned so that it backs the side panels of the sheets, and this is keeping the quilt securely tucked in at your sides. This lets it float naturally on top of you, and it just relieves any constriction while ensuring that drafts stay out and the warmth stays in. Fill and fabrics. So when it comes to fill and fabrics, both of my Zenbivy ultralight quilts that I have purchased, one I've purchased and one was given to me, boast 900 fill power Expedite fluorocarbon free water resistant goose down, virtually identical to what is in my trusty Catabatic Gear Owlset quilt that I've used previously. The outer fabrics are also on par with Zenbivy, using a 10D Pertex Quantum fabric and the Catabatic blending Pertex Quantum Eco with Quantum taffeta. In essence, the materials are very similar, so I was getting sort of a similar experience in fabric. But here is where I found the main difference and where the Zenbivy shines, is with its baffle construction and its shape. So unlike the horizontal baffles of the Catabatic, the Zenbivy employs a thermally mapped baffling system, strategically placing insulation to maximize warmth where it's needed most, like at your core. This design minimizes downshift and ensures consistent warmth throughout. Moreover, the Zenbivy's semi-rectangular shape is a bit of a game changer for restless sleepers like me. While traditional hourglass designs can twist and constrict when you're in them, the Zenbivy allows for natural movement, preventing drafts and enhancing comfort. It's like having a cozy cocoon that moves with you, making it ideal for a good night's sleep when you're out under the stars. The shape of it is actually one of the biggest differences I have noticed. As someone who moves around a lot while I'm sleeping, I find the Zenbivy much easier to move in without creating drafts. A feature that's been a real game changer for my comfort. There really is a lot of down around the upper torso area, and there's so much room to move around when you're in this sleep system. It's fantastic. Since I was sent the warmest quilt in the lineup, I decided to purchase an additional quilt and sheet for the warmer months, as the 10-degree system was simply too warm for summer here. Now, while I'm not suggesting everyone needs to go out and buy multiple quilts, that would just be ridiculous, I'm just explaining my situation. That said, many regular hikers who hike year-round often have both a summer and a winter bag or quilt to cover a range of conditions. Flexibility for every trip. With 2 quilts now in my collection, I can mix and match components to suit any season or trail. So whether I'm hiking in summer or braving a chilly autumn night, the Zenbivy system can now adapt beautifully to the different conditions that I'm faced with. Comfort beyond expectations. The quilt and sheet combination truly mimics the feel of a bed, especially for someone like me who is a bit of a side sleeper. The setup eliminates that mummy bag sort of claustrophobia you can get when you're fully ensconced in your mummy bag and you're just sort of tight and just you can't really move around much. The system is also available in a range of sizes, and I really appreciate the extra space that I get with it. With my other quilt, I would sometimes feel it was a little bit small maybe, or maybe just a bit constrictive, because when I rolled over at night, often I could get a little bit of exposure in my back area where the little hole was, and I'd get a bit of a draft in, especially on those really cold nights. And that is definitely not an issue now with my Zenbivy. The sleeping pad. Now, let's talk about the Zenbivy mattress. Now, I'll admit I didn't have high hopes for it initially. In the past, I found that these dimple style mattresses, I've got the ultralight mattress, it's a dimple style mattress, and I've found them in the past to be a little uncomfortable and not that reliable. But to my surprise, the Zenbivy mattress is better than I expected. It uses something in its fabric called mylar, these layers of mylar to reflect heat quietly, avoiding that crinkly sound that you can get with many other ultralight mattresses, and that is very nice to have, because a lot of those dimple mattresses, when you're in a hut or at a campsite at night, can be very noisy. So I haven't found noise to be an issue as yet with it. And these also provide a pretty solid insulation. They've got an R value of 4.5, I think around 4.5. The fabric is a 20 denier recycled polyester taffeta. That's that word again, taffeta. And it's got a laminated sort of coating on it to increase durability. The mattress also features these offset air cells, so they're arranged in a diagonal baffle pattern, and this provides good support by twisting against your body's natural sort of fold lines instead of collapsing into themselves like a lot of other baffles do, like a lot of other baffles do. The mattress comes with an included inflation sack. It's just your standard sort of inflation sack, really. It's easy to handle. It inflates the mattress reasonably quickly. I'm not a big fan of these sacks to inflate stuff. I just take a pump, but it does the job if you need to inflate it that way. What could be improved? Now, for side sleepers like me, the mattress sometimes can feel a little thin. I would occasionally get my hip hitting the ground. I had to try pretty hard though. It was better than I was expecting. And I know some reviews out there say that it's too thin, their hips are hitting the ground, but while I did try to take notice of that, I slept pretty comfortably on this mattress and didn't have really any complaints. While it's one of the better dimple style mattresses that I've definitely used, especially compared to some of the terrible experiences I've had in the past, it's still probably not my first choice for longer trips where I am looking for maximum comfort. But that is the other thing. I can use any of my other pads with the Zenbivy system, making it pretty versatile. In regards to the pillow, well, the pillow is probably the most comfortable hiking pillow I've ever used. It is a little fiddly though, in that it has 3 components. First, you've got the pillow slip there, very nice pillow slip, as well as the down pillow topper, and you've also got the internal inflatable bladder as well. Now, I know some people out there say, well, what's the point of taking a down pillow, as it will not provide warmth if your head is crushing the down, so it's not going to provide any insulation. But that's not really why I'm using it. I'm not too worried about that. I don't expect a pillow like this to warm my head, but I instead expect it to provide maximum soft comfort for my head to lie on. Just comfort central. And that is exactly what this pillow does. Will I take this full pillow system on walks? Well, I'll wait and see on that. While I do love it, the weight may be a factor in me deciding to leave it behind. But for a short trip of say 2 or 3 nights, maybe 4 nights, I think I would probably take it because it is just so comfortable. Price. Now, I have the most ultra premium setup you could possibly get in the Zenbivy range, with my ultralight quilt, my pillow topper, my ultralight mattress, that whole setup. It's the most expensive thing you could buy if you combined everything on the Zenbivy website. I think it is anyway. It is the lightest, the warmest, and as a result, the most expensive. At 1,599 Australian dollars, which equates to around $1,000 US dollars or 1,040 US dollars for this full setup that I have, it is a very significant investment. However, for the quality and the versatility, it's worth considering if you are a serious hiker and you're out all the time. If I compare it to my existing system, which comes in at around the same price, slightly less at 1,500 Australian dollars, which is 980 US dollars, the Zenbivy costs a little bit more, but I do note that Zenbivy do have occasional sales, so it would be worth just keeping an eye on the website if you are keen to purchase and just waiting till one comes up. Weight. Now, when we look at weight, the Zenbivy does weigh a little more than my traditional system, and that is before I add in the pillow. But I'm getting a more comfortable sleep with the Zenbivy. My ultralight Zenbivy system weighs up to 2.15 kilograms, which includes the quilt, the ultralight sheet, the soft top pillow, the ultralight mattress, and the stuff sack with the compression straps. That's all, the whole thing all together. This is when compared to my current system of a Katabatic Owlsec quilt, a Flextail pillow, and a Thermarest Neo Air X-Lite pad in an XL size. That is around 1.3 to 1.5 kilograms, depending upon which pad I take. So significant difference in weight there. But the level of comfort you're getting, I think, is pretty significant. Overall, here's how the whole thing stacks up. In terms of pros, well, there's superior comfort, it's draft free, it's great for restless sleepers who want comfort. In terms of cons, well, the pillow is pretty bulky and heavy. The pad isn't the best pad you could use. I would probably sub it in for another pad, and it is pretty expensive. Not to mention it's a bit heavier as well. Is it worth it? Like I said, this thing is expensive. And if you are just starting out, it's probably better to spend your money on something a bit more affordable. If I compare it to a similar spec sleeping bag system that I have used for years, it comes in at a similar price. And with any sleep system, if you're getting serious about hiking, it is a significant investment no matter what road you go down. The main thing with any of these sleep systems is to make sure you look after them. Ultimately, I see the Zenbivy system is sort of set up as a bit of a luxury product. But if, like me, you've been hiking for a while, you're looking for a good sleep setup that prioritizes comfort over ultralight minimalism, then it's a really good choice. I'm going to be taking this thing on pretty much every hike for the foreseeable future that I can think of. I don't know why I wouldn't. I prioritize comfort these days over weight, especially in my sleep system. The sleep system is where I allow myself a bit of leeway with weight and to carry a bit of extra weight to get that really good night's sleep when I'm out on the track. However, if you're super weight conscious or you're on a budget, then you might find other setups more practical. And on that note, if you want to see where you can save money when investing in new gear, then check out this video up here where I go through what gear to invest in and where to save.